At the height of the coronavirus pandemic, people were advised to stay at home and small businesses suffered.
However, in Racine, Wisconsin, one man found a way to help them out, with a simple idea that galvanized his community. So now let's go to Racine to meet soccer coach Stan Anderson.
Hey, Stan.
What's up, Kevin? How are you?
Doing great, Stan. Now, as a coach, I imagine you spend a lot of time in restaurants.
I have spent plenty of time in restaurants, that's for sure. That is for sure. Nationwide and worldwide.
And Stan, what do you think it is about restaurants in particular that helps bring a community together?
You go to a restaurant, and that's a place where people meet and connect and share and see other people and create memories and all those sorts of things at a restaurant.
And what happened to restaurants in your area once the lockdown began?
There were 3 restaurants gone in the space of a couple months. And it was because of the pandemic. It wasn't for any other reason than the pandemic. It wasn't their fault, you know? We were losing them at a rapid pace.
And you decided to support your local restaurants, not just by dining there, but by raising money to give to them.
I got the idea to do it back in September of 20, when it was literally going to be a night out with me, my wife, our family. And we raised some money, and we raised the money just through my social media. And that's really where it all started.
And that went over so well that you decided to do that with other restaurants?
23 different restaurants, and 21 of them had been Racine.
Well, among the places you surprised the gift with was Bernie's Pizza. And, well, we actually have a video right here.
We've been going around from restaurant to restaurant, a few restaurants, and we're trying to make things easier on people.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So I didn't know if maybe a couple $100 would help.
You want me to give you 200?
No. I've got some here to help you. Maybe you can move around a little bit, Tank, as well. But how about this? How about there's 100, there's 200, there's 300, there's 400.
No.
There's 500, there's 600.
No.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm going down.
I don't even know where I was counting anymore. But let's say that was 800, that's 900, that's 1,000. Okay? That's 1,100, maybe that's 1,150, but sir,
You're doing it for us?
I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it for you.
Thank you.
You got great people that love you, and you do great work.
Oh, yeah.
Ultimately, Bernie, there's $2,500.
Oh, no.
Okay? All right?
Wow, that was great.
And joining us today is Bernie Willing from Bernie's Pizza with his son, Bernie Jr. So, how long have you been in business in Racine?
Bernie Pizzeria, I've been in business for 14 years, and I've been in the business myself for 60 years. I've been in Racine all my life.
And I've been in Racine my whole life too. I'm 48 and he's 73.
And once the shutdown started during the pandemic, how did that affect your business?
Before the pandemic, we had a strong customer base, nice and steady, even flow every year. Sales-wise, as soon as the pandemic hit, we lost about 2/3 of our dine-in customers. We gained about 1/3 of our to-go customers. So it kind of picked us up a little bit. More to-go, less dine-in. Customers are, a little weary, scared to come out and be close to each other, and that they don't know how you're running your business and if you're taking the safety precautions that are needed.
Did you have to lay people off to stay afloat?
So when the pandemic hit, we had to lay people off, and then we got our PPP loan, the payroll protection plan, and then we were able to hire back all of our employees, and we've kept them since then.
Tell us about that night that Stan came in and surprised you.
I was just working, and I heard a man came in, and he wanted to see me. And when I walked out here, he started placing the money down, and I didn't think about the money. I thought about the man who had a heart to walk in my restaurant and give me money to keep my business going.
We didn't have any knowledge of, someone like Stan doing what he was doing for local businesses until he walked in our door.
What did it mean for you guys to have someone just give you $2,500?
Well, I knew that it could give us a little bit more breathing room with some food bills that, have backed up, and kind of take the relief off a little bit, the pressure.
It's hard to express what to say to a man who had heart. He's a great man, and I'll never forget Stan Anderson.
And Stan, watching that video, it looks like when you came in, Bernie thought you were there for another reason.
He thought we were asking for money, and he would have given it in a pandemic to somebody he didn't know. I kid you not, he would have done that. And the reality was we were there to give him $2,500.
So, how much money have you distributed so far?
$58,000. And it's daunting when we think about the 500. That was the first night, was 500. And to think 58,000 now, that's a considerable increase from what we originally planned.
That's incredible, man. And how does that make you feel when you're counting out all that money to restaurant owners?
It makes you feel fantastic. Smart enough to realize that the community is behind this, and I give massive, massive credit to the city of Racine and anybody else that's contributed.
Has doing this made you more aware of how important it is to support local businesses?
I've really, really understood at a micro level the need, in my words, the need to buy local, because there are people's livelihoods that depend on this. And the reality is we've also had some quality response from the bigger companies, if you will. SC Johnson is a Fortune 500 company, and they contributed $5,000 to their restaurant owner that's a tenant in their building.
And for the people watching at home, can they do this in their own communities?
Anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. I'm just a pass-through. I've just organized a way for it to happen, and people have rallied behind it. Anybody can get this done. Anybody can, and that's honestly would be the number one thing that I would want out of this for other people watching. If they're inspired to be a difference, then be a difference. Just get it done. Don't sit and wait for something. Just do it.
There it is, spoken like a true coach. Thanks for being on the show, Stan.
See you, Kevin.
And thank you, Bernie and Bernie.
Bye, Gunner.
Bye, Gunner.
Hi, Kevin. Hey, Gunner. Thank you for having us on the show.
Thank you so much for being here.
Citlally, I see you've got your dog with you. What can you tell us about her?
We've had Valentina for 3 years. She's a Yorkie, and she's my emotional support animal. And she's extremely important to me, and I think to all of us, to all the family. She's the baby of the family. She goes everywhere with us. She goes to trips, the store. She goes to work with me, and she never leaves my side.
We have 4 dogs. Of course, we have Valentina, the Yorkie. We have 2 Chihuahuas, Sparkles and Wednesday. And then we have a lab mix, TJ.
And you guys live up in the hills where there's a lot of wildlife.
There's probably like everything that you could name, really.
We've seen lots of deers. I mean, we see deers every day.
There's also just like more docile animals. We have rabbits and like your common like skunks and opossums.
And what about bears?
Bears are really common, especially right now. When we moved here, there weren't that many instances, but now that it's summertime, food is more scarce. They're just looking around, trying to find things and trying to survive, really. That's all they're doing. You might see them on Monday night or Tuesday morning because that's when trash day is. They're just scavenging for food, but they have come really close to us, but we're always inside our house.
Well, not always. I mean, you did have one pretty close encounter recently, right?
I was out with my family in the garden. We were gardening, trying to fix up our yard and put in some flowers. The bear was probably just crossing through our yard, trying to get back because in our backyard we have like this forest, and it was probably just trying to go through or get some food. It wasn't trying to bother anyone really, but it was just my dogs who got in the way.
So then their dog sees this bear running around on their lawn, and they're thinking, hey, what's this guy doing in our yard? And then this happens.
Now, Hailey, Can you describe what we're seeing in this video?
What you're seeing in the video is me running. My dogs are barking at a bear, and they're getting way too close to the bear, doing really dumb things, and I counter by doing my own dumb thing, and I push the bear off of the wall that it's on. And some may say it's heroic, some may say it's stupid, but I guess I did save my dogs.
So was it just instinct that made you run toward the bear?
I ran to the bear because the bear was actually picking up Valentina here, and I knew that it was probably like a life or death situation for her. So because she's my mom's emotional support animal, I had to act and do something. So when I did eventually get to the bear, I wasn't thinking, but the first thought that I did have was to push it.
So now it's a push scene around the world. So when you saw the video footage from your security camera for the first time, what'd you think when you saw Hailey pushing a bear off a wall?
I was horrified. I was really afraid. At that moment, I was no longer thinking that she was safe. I was just thinking, what could have happened to my daughter? And I pretty much had like a panic attack. I started crying. Everybody started crying and hugging Hailey and telling her that we were happy that she was fine and just being thankful that she was fine.
And when you see the bear snatching up Valentina, how does that make you feel?
At that moment, I don't think I was thinking about Valentina that much. I kept looking at that video over and over and over. And every time that I looked at the video, I see that Hailey's so close to the bear's face that, I don't know, it just makes me not focus so much on Valentina, but in Hailey. But I was extremely grateful that Valentina was safe.
Were any of the dogs injured?
Although they were not deep, but she did have a few scratches. We thought that TJ could maybe have suffered some injuries, but he was fine. Nothing happened to TJ.
And what about you, Hailey? Any physical injuries?
When I pushed the bear, I did get a sprained finger and a scraped knee, and I always think about how funny that is, how I did this really dangerous thing and I came out of it with these like very just minor injuries. Right after I pushed it, I was kind of concerned for what my parents would say really, instead of my own safety, but I'd say about 2 minutes after, once we all got inside, that's when I guess it all hit me and I was like, oh my gosh, and I was just so shaky afterwards and I couldn't believe what I had done, and it was just a crazy moment for me, really.
Yeah, when she came in, she had a rush of adrenaline and she didn't even feel that she was injured.
Being that close to the bear, I mean like right here, have you had nightmares since then?
I've actually had one nightmare, and it's just like constant paranoia now. There's this one dream that I had that there was this giant bear outside my window and it got into my house and it was like chasing me, but it feels really silly and all, but I guess that now I'm just a bit more paranoid.
Do you know what kind of bear it was?
The bear was a California black bear, and it probably weighed around 250 pounds. When I pushed it, I actually had my phone in one hand and I had a gardening glove in the other. So I guess it was really unfortunate this one time I get to touch a bear. I can't feel how soft it is, but I can say for one that it was pretty squishy, and that's all I can really remember. And I think I was just more concerned with my safety and the dogs than to remember how it felt to touch the bear.
And have you seen the same bear since?
We've seen the bear a lot of times. She's actually come into our neighbor's yard. She's in the trees like right outside our yard. She came the other day in our trash cans. She's around all the time.
Now, living out in the hills with all the wildlife, are you at all concerned that the bears might, come after some of the animals, eventually injure your dogs or maybe even one of you?
I think that's always a concern. The bear's getting too close again, or our dog's getting too close. It's just one of those horrible things that might happen, and it is scary, but we are trying to just take all the measures to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, we're taking precautions. Every time that we go out, we make sure that we look first, and now we have a bear horn and a bear spray.
So, if you were faced with the same situation again, do you think you'd do the same thing?
I think there's a part of me that wouldn't do this again. Though it's really noble and brave and it takes a lot, it's just not really safe at all. Who knows what could happen the next time if it did repeat. I got really lucky, and I don't think I would do that again. I'd probably try some other way now that I know information with and how to handle bears and what to do.
And what about you, Citlally? If you saw a bear going after Valentina, would you push it away?
I don't know. In that moment, I think it's just the adrenaline and the fight or flight that takes over you, and you don't know what you could do or what you're capable of. But I thought about me looking at what was happening. If this was another instance, I probably would have run to save Hailey and Valentina if I would have seen this.
So, last question. Do you believe in miracles or think that maybe there was a miracle involved in this incident?
Oh, I definitely believe in miracles. I think this was an intervention from heaven, or all the gods together came in unison to save my daughter. I do believe that miracles exist.
I'd say this is just, I don't know if I believe in miracles. It's just one of those crazy, crazy things and coincidences. Well, maybe the stars did align and it was a miracle, but I don't know. Life is just absolutely insane, and I guess you can't predict anything.